The elections are fascinating to me because I don't particularly have an opinion about election fraud, but I do have an opinion on fraud, and it always exists. There's always been people that are full of shit that are manipulating things and saying that they're not. And we're finding this out now with Twitter. Now that Elon Musk purchased Twitter, and he's finding that, you know, they literally had FBI people embedded in Twitter that were holding back information from him. Like there was a guy that he fired that was an FBI guy that worked for the FBI at one point in time and now was one of the head guys at Twitter and was withholding information from him while he was trying to release information about, allegedly, I should say allegedly so I don't get in trouble here with this, but what he was saying essentially was this person was a bottleneck to releasing this data. Where they were trying to find out, like, why did President Trump get banned? You know, what was going on in terms of shadow banning conservative people, and how much coordination was going on inside the company to try to suppress certain ideologies and magnify other ones. And it's pretty stunning.
I'd be curious. I'm curious how much of that stuff's in there, how hard it is to find, and how much people were just being more discreet with text messages and phone calls.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of that. But, you know, I think with corporations, they tend to do things on Slack. You know, they have an internal messaging system.
Oh, yeah, I know Slack, yeah. So I don't use it, but I know about it.
I think it's all recorded, unfortunately.
I'm the only person in my company that doesn't use Slack. Drives everybody crazy. I'm just like, I feel like there's like so many ways to get a hold of me. I don't need like a fourth one.
Yeah.
Like you email me, you call me, you text me, now I gotta have another one.
Knock on your door.
I wasn't even counting that.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit,
If
man.
I ever get to the point where this podcast has Slack, I'm going to sell it.
You and Jamie can Slack all day.
I'm going to sell it to AI. Because they can already do, they did an AI interview with me and Steve Jobs. I never met Steve Jobs. So they put together a podcast with me and Steve Jobs.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
It's fucking wild because you listen to it and you would believe it's true.
Well, it's too bad that FTX collapsed because he was going to use his money to battle AI. He wanted to, you know, like his whole deal, the what's it called, effective altruism?
Yeah.
Part of his crusade when he got to dishing out the, you know, he was going to get around to dishing out the billions of dollars to charity, and he was going to battle pandemics and AI.
Interesting.
So now that funding dried up. I guess AI is coming for us after all.
The funding of pandemics, the issue with that is that they fund research, and some of that research is gain-of-function research. And that's what they think led us into this whole fucking thing in the first place. And, you know, the government, well, Fauci most certainly didn't tell the truth about it. And that's why Elon made a tweet yesterday that his pronouns are prosecute Fauci. And everybody's going nuts.
Well, it's funny. I can follow his Twitter account by just reading the news.
Yeah.
It's like, on one hand, every tweet he makes becomes an article in the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's pretty crazy.
You can take X number of characters and then basically say something and then have professional journalists turn it into 800 to 1,000 word news pieces.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'd be great to have that be your reality.
For him?
Just anybody. If I could be like, hey, you know, here's the thing I think. And then someone would translate it into this really like well thought article with pros and cons and quotes and shit. You know what I mean? It's like an amazing machine. So I'm very much in tune with everything he tweets without ever reading the tweets. You know this idea like there's like an object in its shadow. His tweets are an object, but they make a shadow. Do you follow me? And I'm like looking at I'm just like looking at the shadow all the time.
Right.
It's incredible power.
Yeah.
To have.
It's also an industry, right? Because these people need things to write about, and all you have to do is like just you always have resource. You just go to his shit and immediately you can write a story.
Yeah.
Like if you don't know what am I going to write about today? Ukraine is kind of what's the same old. I need something juicy.
I've had that happen a couple times, and I had it happen recently where I went duck hunting with Co Wetzel, who's a musician, and so I had a thing on Instagram where I was with Co, and he had a thing on Instagram, and then the next day we saw a big article about our having hunted as though there was someone that was there. It was like a reported piece based off pictures and the captions.
Whoa.
And they wrote like a reported piece. I mean, this has happened to you 10 times a day.
Oh, yeah, it happens a lot.
So,
yeah, I hear about things, and I don't read anything about me, but I hear about things from other people. Like, what's going on with that thing? You know, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, I read an article that, you know, people are upset because of this and that. And I'm like, oh.
I'm a sucker for Joe Rogan stories. And because I know you, people send them to me.
It's so strange. It's a strange time.
Oh, I feel bad. I don't know. Maybe that's not the word, man. I feel bad. Is it bad? I don't know. Maybe I feel bad for you the way that shit happens. Because you kind of want to, you know, that shit will happen and I'll kind of, I don't know who to tell, you know. You kind of want to be like, man, you got it all wrong, man. Well, you don't know who to talk to.
Well, it's weird because on one hand, it strengthens the group of people that know me and know the podcast and listen to the podcast. But you get all these people that just get like a soundbite or get an article or the title of the article. And that's, look, I'm guilty of that. I read titles of articles and then I send them to my wife all the time. She's like, did you read it? I go, no. She goes, that's not really what it's all about. I'm like, yeah, but the title's fucking juicy.
Yeah.
But that's what goes on today. So.
I was surprised by you a couple times when that you don't like to even. It's a little bit fatalistic on your part. You don't even want to participate in journalism about you.
That's fatalistic?
Yeah, because it's like you could. Do you know what I mean? Even if you could get that one little quote in there,
it's not worth it.
Yeah, but you don't even.
No. It's not, well, first of all, for your mental health, it's not good. It's not good to think about yourself. I don't think that's very healthy. Certainly, it's not good to think about other people's opinions of yourself. I think that you're farming off your own opinions to other folks and letting them decide.
Yeah, but to have and I'll use the word, when I use the word credentialed, I don't mean flawless, but I mean like a somewhat vetted news organization is prepared. Okay.
Though it's even the New York Times is sketchy today.
It is. Everybody is.
Everybody's sketchy.
Okay, here, let me